Hi, my name is Janine and welcome back to Living While Fighting Multiple Myeloma. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of the reoccurrence. So overall, fear is going to be a topic today. Before we get into the topic today, we do have our first guest appearance. We have someone who sent in their video submission, wanted to share their story. So they are not a multiple myeloma warrior, but they are a loved one of someone who had multiple myeloma, and they lived with, watching their loved one go through multiple myeloma. So her name is Janice Lee. She is actually a very good friend of mine. When I told her that I had multiple myeloma, which was the first time I ever heard of it, she told me that she was aware of it already and that her mom had multiple myeloma. So I'm super excited to share her video with you guys today. As always, I don't own the video. She did send in and gave me permission to play her video. So we're going to go ahead and play that video. And before we do, if you're new here, I would love you to subscribe to my channel. If you are a multiple myeloma warrior, a loved one, caregiver, or someone who is just curious, I would love to have you. So as always, we're going to put the video here on the screen and we're going to watch it together. So one moment. All right, we're going to go ahead and watch Janice's video now.
My name is Janice. I'm here to talk about my mother. She had multiple myeloma back in 2008 is when she first found out. I remember when she first told me about it. I was in my room and she came in there and said, "Janice, I got multiple myeloma." I didn't know what it was, so I looked it up. And I saw that it was cancer of the bones. And I thought, well, maybe everything will be okay. We're a praying family. We love the Lord. God's going to heal my mom. So I started praying for my mom, hoping everything should be okay, hoping that she'll get healed from the cancer. So me and my dad, we'll always take my mom to her appointments to get chemotherapy and radiation. And I noticed that she wasn't getting well. And I finally asked the doctor, I was like, "Is everything okay with my mom?" She was like, "No, she's at stage 4 cancer." And I was like, "Stage 4? I just started crying, went to her room. She was in the hospital at the time. Went to her room, I just started crying. And she said, "Janice, don't cry." And I was like, "But the doctor just said you got stage 4 cancer." And she was just like, "Don't cry." But I was just crying. It was a sad moment for everybody. Me, my brothers and sisters, my dad, my mom. It was sad to see my mom like that. She had to get a rod in her legs because the cancer had gotten so bad. She got a rod in her legs. She had her hair cut off. She was walking with a cane. Yeah, she was walking with a cane. But through it all, she remained strong through it all. How it affected me to this day, I miss my mom. She died a couple years after that. She died in 2010, December 2010. But yeah, I miss my mom, and we miss her dearly. But that's my story about my mom. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Janice. Sorry, I didn't mean to get emotional. I couldn't watch the video when she first sent it to me because she's a very dear, 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 dear friend of mine. And I know how tough it is to lose a parent. So I understood, but I couldn't watch it all the way through. So Janice, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Thank you for being vulnerable, putting that story out there. And she knows, I love her dearly, and it really hurt me to, my core, that her mom went through so much pain. As we know, myeloma it's just pain. Pains in the bones. Myeloma eats bones. It's very awful. And not enough people know about it, and not a lot of people know what we go through. Like, I look this way, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, you don't look sick." Most days I personally am in grave pain. My back hurts. I can't just get out of my bed and walk normal. Every step there's pain. Going down my stairs is pain. So I definitely understand, and I'm so thankful, Janice, for you, opening up and sharing your story today. Thank you so much. And if anybody else wants to share their story, whether you're going through it or your loved one, please send in your video submissions. There's a link below. Janice actually had trouble sending in her video. So if you do, I do have my email address. You can send it to me that way as well. And then there is a box if you want to send in just questions. So again, thank you, Janice. So I'm so sorry, y'all. Let me gather myself. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the topic today. We're going to keep the video nice and short. So, of course, today the title is Fear of the Unknown. So, a lot of the fear, and I have my notes here so I don't miss anything. So, a lot of the fear, so initially when I told I had cancer, the first thing popped into my mind was fear. I shook all over the place. I was crying. You know, I thought that meant a death sentence for me. Even though my doctor was telling me, you know, to have faith in that a lot of people live a very long time with multiple myeloma. So, but I still was afraid. I was so afraid. I have a family, I have kids. So I was super, super afraid of dying. That was my first fear, was dying. You know, it's the uncertainty about your future as well. Like I showed you guys on my last video. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check that out. I was bubbly, fun, lively. I hung out with my family. I line danced. I was active. I did all kind of things. I went from that to not being able to do the same things anymore. I tried to like get back into who I was. I tried dancing again, and I just couldn't do it the way I could have before. You know, my body hurts. My bones are different. My energy level is different. So you're unsure of how your future is going to be once you hear, you know, you have cancer in general, not just myeloma, cancer in general. Your fear of the progression of the disease. Like a lot of people that I hear from, and from my own family, my uncle, when he found out that he had multiple myeloma, he was in stage 4, as well as you heard in the video. Janice's mom was in stage 4. Because myeloma, they call it the silent killer. You know, like we already went over the symptoms. A lot of it people just don't pay any attention to because they think it comes along with older age or anything like that. So we don't pay much attention to it. Or it's a chiropractic situation. So it goes silent. And for my uncle, it was his back. His back was killing him. And he went to all kind of doctors and they just couldn't help with the back pain. So that was, you know, for him. So you don't know the progression of the disease. Like, I think I've stayed on here before, you know, someone from my support group woke up and they were paralyzed and had to have multiple surgeries. And the way that it progresses, it's a slow progression, but the most things that I hear is the bone pain gets to the point where a lot of people are in wheelchairs, they need walkers. The pain is so bad that pain medicine can't, you know, help with the pain. So you have a lot of fear of what your future is going to look like and how the disease is going to progress in your body. Also, another fear that I had was the impact of treatment. I have never in my life, you know, my uncle had cancer. I was a little girl when he had it, so I didn't know what he went through. And if you're not someone who has experienced going with someone that has cancer to treatment, or you don't know. So I was afraid of what the treatment was. I've only seen on movies or commercials, you know. I didn't have the full picture of what treatment was going to look like for me. So I was super afraid of chemo. I was super afraid of losing my hair. I was super afraid of losing all of my weight and just being and looking sickly. So you definitely have a fear of treatment and how it's going to react to your body. And then another fear for multiple myeloma patients and just cancer in general, the fear of it coming back. So this is different for us. So for multiple myeloma patients, there's no cure. We can get treatment to put us in a state of remission. That remission is not permanent. A lot of people say they have gone years in remission. So you can go a long time in remission, but the fear, every day the fear, especially myself, it was traumatizing that it could come back in full force. I am personally in a temporary remission. I literally yesterday just went and got chemo. So I have to get chemo once a month to stay in remission, as well as taking other medications to make sure I stay in remission. So it's not just like, we're in remission. We don't need any more treatment. We could go on with our life. No. We still have a lot of work to stay in remission. So that is a huge fear as well. Right behind death is, will it come back? Will I be able to get through the treatment again? Because it was horrible, horrific. So it keeps me up at night thinking about whether it's going to come back or not. So that is a huge fear for myself, and I'm sure for anyone else who has cancer that is in remission, that is a fear of theirs as well. All right, so a lot of people ask me all the time, is multiple myeloma terminal? I've heard it in so many different ways. My doctor says it considered to be terminal / chronic. I believe back in the days it really was terminal because they didn't have any ideas, any ways of curing it. So it really was terminal back then because they didn't know how to put their patients in a state of remission. So I guess that's yes. It's yes and no. But even if you Google it, it'll say that yes, it's terminal / chronic. So another question that I got from a viewer is, will it kill you? So to answer that question, so these answers that I'm giving you guys came straight from my oncologist because I asked the same thing. So she said to me, it's no longer considered one of the deadliest types of cancers. It used to be when it first started popping up. It really was like a #1 killer of patients. They had no clue about this cancer, and they're still learning today. There's still a lot of teaching hospitals. There's a lot of research that's still going on, so they're still trying to figure it out. So it also says it depends on the stage. So a lot of people that have already passed the first 3 stages, and once they get to stage 4, it can be terminal for them. Also, my doctor said it depends on your response to the treatment. So it's okay. So a lot of things with that. So depending on how healthy you were before, if you have any other underlying conditions, that determines how the treatments work with your body. So yeah, thankfully, I was healthy and active before my treatment, so I was able to withstand the treatments and get through them. My doctor said very well. She said surprisingly very well. She said my body did amazing. I was able to get through it without some of the other things a lot of the other patients went through because I was so healthy and active before my treatment. So overall health has a lot to do with whether or not your body responds to the treatment. So lastly, I'm just going to share with you a couple more of my fears, and then we're going to wrap the video up today. So I have gotten anxiety from the whole situation. It's associated with the medical scans, the stress of the biopsy. Y'all, the biopsy gives me so much anxiety because it's extremely painful. It hurts so bad and leaves me like weeks not being able to sit down or lay down properly because of the pain from the biopsy. So that I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to that. Overall, like I said before, my biggest fear of it coming back and me having to go through that process all over again. Those are just some of the fears that, I deal with on a daily. So I just wanted to, continue sharing my life, hopefully sharing other people's story so we can bring light to this situation. And always down below, there is a little website there for anybody who wants to donate to the Multiple Myeloma Foundation, Lymphoma and Leukemia Foundation. They were extremely helpful to me when I was going through my situation. We're going to talk about it in a different video, the cost. That really will take a whole nother video because a lot of people don't talk about it, but we're definitely going to talk about it. But it's very expensive. So those 2 foundations have helped me so much. So if you ever wanted to donate, I'm not here promoting that you do that, I promise you. But if anybody just wants to, it's down there below. And there's more information for you to read as well. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. And again, you're more than welcome to send me your video submissions and your questions, and we'll get to them on the next video. It's been a pleasure speaking with you guys. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much again for watching, and definitely subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.